G'day guys, my name's Dave and welcome to another Guitars Ready Hero song tutorial. In this lesson, I'm going to teach you how to play What's Up by 4 Non-Blondes. This is a great tune because for beginners, the rhythm guitar is super simple and is played throughout the entire song. And for more experienced players, the lead guitar is a whole lot of fun to play as well. And of course, I'll be covering both in this lesson. For the basics, you'll just need a guitar and standard tuning and you won't need a capo. Now, if you want to master your chords back to front, then be sure to head over to guitarsreadyhero.com to pick up my free guitar ebook. And finally, this lesson simply teaches you the one song, but if truly understanding and learning the guitar is something you've always wanted to do, but you didn't know where to start, then be sure to check out my Guitars Ready Hero Premium membership and course, which gives you the guidance to play with confidence. I'll leave a link to it in the description below. Let's jump into the lesson. Let's jump into the rhythm guitar first, and this is a really simple song because it's just one 4-chord chord progression throughout the entire song. The most important part is really just getting the strumming pattern down, in my opinion. Let's start there. So the strumming pattern is going to go something like this. Down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And let's just practice playing that again and again. The idea and the goal here is really to just keep that pattern going, keep your motor running. We don't want to stop and start in between changing chords. So in succession, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Okay, so with that strumming pattern down, now let's take a look at the chords. We're going to start off with an A chord. And there's of course a few different ways you can play an A chord. So just pick whichever fingering of the A chord suits your fingers best. Personally, I'm going to be using this 3-finger A chord using my middle ring and pinky fingers, all on the 2nd frets of the 4th, 3rd and 2nd string. Now with the A chord, it's important that you don't hit the open 6th string as well. So one way to mute the 6th string is to just have your thumb reaching over the top to lightly touch that 6th string. So you can strum all the strings and only the ones you want to ring out are going to ring out because that one's muted. So A, then we go to a B minor. Now this might scare some beginners because it's a bar chord, but don't worry, I'll teach you an easier way of playing it in a moment. But for the B minor, your next finger on the 2nd fret of the 5th string, ring and pinky on the 4th frets of the 4th and 3rd, and then middle finger on the 2nd fret of, and then middle finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. We can just focus on those middle 4 strings if we want to, but as a bonus, if you can bar your index finger to hit the 2nd fret of the 1st string as well, then that's great. But if not, don't worry about it. Just focus on the middle 4 strings. And again, we want our 6th string muted. So you can do that by lightly touching it with your index finger as you're fretting down that 2nd fret of the 5th string. So that's our B minor. We then go to a D chord, nice and easy, and back to an A chord. And that's our 4-chord chord progression that just loops again and again. We're going to apply the strumming pattern once to every single chord, so it's really nice and simple. Now, one thing that's in the actual recording that also helps with the chord transitions are some open strums. So you'll notice in the actual recording, for the last 2 or 3 strums, what Linda Perry does is she actually lifts her fretting hand from that chord to play open strings. And that actually allows you to transition to the next chord. So let me demonstrate from the A to the B minor. So with those last 2 down strums there, I was just hitting them open as I was lifting my hand to transition to the B minor. And one more time. So notice those open strums. So you can use that to your advantage to transition to the next chord. Remember, as I noted before, it's really important that you keep your strumming hand going. You don't want to be stopping and starting between each chord. So keep that motor running. Your fretting hand will catch up over time the more you practice. So altogether, the verse. And again. Alright, so that's how it's done in the studio recording, basically the whole way through the song. For those beginners out there who maybe can't quite get the B minor right just yet, here's an alternative. We can play a B minor 7. So for the B minor 7 alternative, we have our index and middle finger on the 2nd frets of the 5th and 3rd string, and our ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. So we're just focusing on the middle 4 strings here. If you happen to hit the 1st string, that's okay, but we definitely want that 6th string muted. So that's our B minor 7. Now, if you're playing this easy B minor, with your A, you probably want to play it with your index finger barring across the 2nd frets, or with your index, middle, and ring finger, because that makes the transition to this B minor 7 a little simpler. So the easy way of playing this progression. If you're still struggling with the chord progression, that B minor is really giving you grief, here's an even simpler way of playing the chord progression. Put a capo on the 2nd fret. Now we have a G chord shape, an A minor chord shape, a C chord shape, and then finally a G chord shape, which would sound like this all together. So there you have it, 3 different ways of playing the rhythm guitar for this song. Now the only other thing I want to note about the rhythm guitar in the song is at the very end, in the outro of the song, what happens is that there's a rhythm change. So for the majority of the song, we're playing at straight 16th notes. However, at the end, there's a change to swung 16th notes. So instead of the down and up strums being equal like this, what happens is that the down strums are going to be held out a little longer than the up strums, so it'll sound like this. But the chord progression stays exactly the same, so all that happens is that there's a change in the feel, and that would sound like this. Okay, so now let's get stuck into the lead guitar, which is a lot of fun to play. Now in terms of tone, I'm just using my bridge pickup here. I'm using a mid-gain amp, so it's a crunch amp on my Boss Katana with the gain set fairly high. Got a tiny bit of reverb, and that's pretty much it. Starting with the intro, there's 2 lines of tab here. For the first 3 bars, there's actually no lead guitar. Now the lead guitar actually comes in on the 4th bar. I'm gonna take my pinky finger and hit the 9th fret of the 3rd string. Now I'm actually going to slide into this note. So on the first pluck, I'm going to actually hit around the 7th fret and slide up to that 9th fret. So I'm going to pluck this with a down up stroke. That first note doesn't start on the 1 beat, it actually starts on the end beat after the 3. So 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a, and then follow that with 2 more upstrokes. Up, up. So the rhythm all together. And then we get into the second line of tab where we start with the 7th fret of the 4th string. So after we hit that, we're going to hold that out for 3 beats. On the 4E beat, we're going to pluck this note 2 more times with a down up, and then slide down to the 4th fret where we're going to hit that 4th fret of the 4th string on the next bar. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1. We'll then take our index finger to the 2nd fret here. We're going to pluck this and hammer onto that 4th fret. After that hammer, we then go up to the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, back to the 4th fret of the 4th string, and then down to the 2nd fret. So those 4 plucks. And then we have a quick chunk of 4 notes. So 4th fret of the 4th string, 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and we play those 2 notes again. So that's the chunk of 4 notes. And from the start of the 2nd bar, at the end of this 3rd bar, we'll take our ring and pinky fingers, go to the 7th frets of the 4th and 3rd strings. We're going to pluck the 4th string, 3rd, 4th, And with your index finger, bar across the 5th frets of the 3rd and 2nd string, we're gonna play a double stop here, meaning we're gonna pluck these 2 strings together at once. And you're gonna do a half bend, so just push those 2 strings up, and then end back on the 7th fret of the 4th string. So this lick. At the very end of this line of tab, we'll go 5th fret of the 5th string and up to 7th, and do that again. So at the very end. And the intro in total. 1, 2, 3. Next we get to verse 1, which is 2 lines of tab, and it's very similar to the 2nd line of tab in the intro. There's just one minor change. So in the intro we had this lick, but we're going to replace that with this lick. So we're going to go 2nd fret of the 4th string, hammer onto the 4th, and then up to the 2nd fret of the 3rd, back to the 4th fret of the 4th string, and end on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. So this lick in total. And that line of tab is just played through twice for verse number 1, which will sound like this. Next is the pre-chorus, which is really simple because it's just the same chord progression as the acoustic guitar. We have our A, B minor, D, and back to A. Now, if you'd like, during this pre-chorus, after you've strummed a chord, you can sort of just arpeggiate the chord, meaning you can pluck the individual notes of the string and sort of improvise that way. So something like this could work. That's of course just optional though, so play around with it and see how you go. Next we get to the chorus, and the chorus is just the same chords, but we're now implementing the strumming pattern that the acoustic guitar uses, with the exception of the final A chord. When we get to the final A, we're just hitting it and letting it ring out. So remember, the strumming pattern goes down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, up, down, up. And on those last couple of strums, you can actually lift your fretting hand to hit open strings as you move to the next chord. Next is the break after the first chorus, which is essentially the same as the second line of tab in the intro, just played through twice. So we've already learnt that riff. Next is verse 2, which is the same as verse 1, except at the very end we're not hitting this lick. So we're ending on the second fret of this third string here, and we're letting that ring out for the whole bar, and then we jump into the next pre-chorus. The second pre-chorus is the same as the first pre-chorus, but there's just one little lick that we can add at the very end of this pre-chorus. So after the A chord, we can jump up here, ring finger on the 16th fret of the third string, pinky on the 17th fret of the second string. We're going to hit these two strings, bend your ring finger up a full tone, and release. So bend, release, and pull off to the 14th fret. So have your index finger ready there on the 14th fret of the third string. So bend, release, pull off, and then ring finger comes back onto that 16th fret, and then you do another bend of that ring finger. And that final bar. Next is the second chorus, which is basically the same as the first chorus, just the chord progression is played through 4 times and not twice. And then we have the outro, which is the same as the intro. It's the exact same lick. So after the final A chord of the chorus, we then jump to the lead in for that outro. So 1, 2, 3. and the rest we already know from the intro. And that's it for all the lead guitar parts. It's pretty simple. Once we learn that intro, basically the verse lead riff is very similar to that intro, and then the pre-chorus and the chorus are basically the same chords as what the acoustic guitar is playing, just with some distortion instead. So now I'll be doing a full playthrough of the song, and I'll have a vocal track on top for some context. A big thanks to singer-songwriter Natalie Gelman for lending her beautiful vocals to this playthrough. If you want to check out her music and videos, then I'll leave a link to it in the description below. Feel free to play this back as many times as you'd like to practice, play along to, and see how you go.
Thanks so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this lesson, then I know you'll absolutely love these other lessons too. So hit the link here, or if you want to grab a copy of my free guitar ebook, then head over to guitarzerotohero.com or click the link here. Thanks so much, and I'll see you guys next time on Guitar Zero to Hero. Cheers.